Well made. The five pillars of a durable life. Why would you want to have a durable life? And what are the five pillars? Well, let me give you three reasons why you would want to have a durable life, to create a durable life. Reason number one, for your own success, health, good relationships, and happiness. The second reason would be to weather the inevitable storms and brutality of life that will eventually come all of our way. And the third reason, which to me is maybe the most important, is to be at your best and to be there for those who are most important to you when they need you the most. Five pillars of a durable life are physical, mental, emotional, financial, and spiritual. Now, you can start building this durability today. You can start today. And many of you have already built durability in maybe all five of these areas. You'll find out today. This is a test as well. You can look at this as, a checklist. Have I built a durable life? And what I can tell you is I'm going through the toughest few weeks of my life. I lost my father a few weeks ago. He was my hero and my best friend. And I was very lucky to have that as a dad for 45 years. Now, I had been building up my own durability for years. So as I'm going through the toughest time of my life, I can survive it and keep going. And most importantly, I can be there for the most important people in my life, my closest loved ones. I want to be there for them as they need it. I want to be able to show up. Now, my father had built an extremely durable life. He excelled at all five pillars. He was such a great example for me in terms of what it takes to become durable. So, I'm going to give you very specific examples of durability, how you can build it. I will give you resources as well that you can further your education and you can learn exactly how to be more durable in this episode. And if you are enjoying this podcast and previous episodes, please um, subscribe, and share this episode in particular if with just one person that you think would find it very useful. So let's jump in. Let's be specific here in terms of what it takes to be durable, to be well made. Here's some other great ways to describe a durable life: indestructible, secure, deep rooted, long term, sturdy, stable, persisting, everlasting. Pillar number one of a durable life: physical. How do you build physical durability? Well, in terms of this one, I'm going to always lean on doctors and scientists and experts. So I'm not giving you advice here, health advice, medical advice. I'm citing experts here. So always talk to your doctor, always talk to an expert when it comes to your health. But I'm going to cite experts today in terms of physicality, your finances, your mental performance. I'm going to lean on the true experts in these areas. Okay. And I've been fortunate. I've been practicing this durability for years and years and years and years myself, a little better than yesterday. Am I perfect? No, no, but I'm striving every day to be a little more durable. So again, so I can show up for those who need me the most when they need me the most. So in terms of physicality, 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week, 3 of those days, zone 2 cardio for 30 minutes. Okay. 2 of those days out of the 5, strength training, resistance training. In particular, I would say tactical strength training. And that's the type of training that law enforcement, firefighters, military, mixed martial artists, wrestlers, combat athletes, they do tactical strength and conditioning work. So why would we want to do that? So if we ever need to defend ourselves or defend the life of someone we care about, we have some good strength, tactical strength and conditioning to be able to do so. Now, you could do 3 days a week of total body resistance training as well. You could do 3 days of zone two cardio, 3 days of resistance training. You could also do some sprint work in there as well. But do your research and get a good program going for yourself. Uh, Number two, self-protection training. I'd recommend getting at least a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. Okay, that takes 6 to 18 months on average, sometimes a little bit more, maybe sometimes less. But that's a really, really important investment in your ability to defend yourself. A Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt minimum. I'd also recommend mixed martial arts training, striking, wrestling. Jiu-Jitsu is included in that. Boxing, kickboxing. Again, so you can defend yourself if you have to, and also defend the lives of others if you have to. Number three, 7.5 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. Number four, keep a healthy waistline of half your height in inches at your belly button circumference. So you measure it at your belly button. So if you are a round number here, 70 inches tall, you would want to keep a belly button circumference of 35 inches or less. Okay, it's been cited as a really, really good way to dramatically reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, all kinds of things. So keeping that healthy waistline, and that's a reasonable, healthy waistline. That's not extreme. Okay, that's very doable. How do you measure it? I use what's called myotape. You can buy it on Amazon. Myotape. It's an easy way to measure your waist. I measure mine daily. I track my sleep daily. What gets measured gets accomplished in life. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you want to have 75 ounces at least of water every day. And then lastly, get regular physicals and blood work with your doctor to get ahead of things, to be preventative. Book recommendations. Outlive by Peter Attia is excellent. New Rules of Lifting Supercharged by Alan Cosgrove. And some great podcasts. The Dan John podcast. He gives some excellent training and life advice. And any interview with Dr. Peter Attia that you can find. He does great interviews where he really packs in a lot of excellent advice on physical and even mental health. Okay, pillar number two, mental. How do you develop mental strength, mental stability, mental sturdiness? Two ways. Number one, reading biographies of successful people to see how they became successful and also the mistakes they made so you can avoid them. Cannot recommend reading biographies enough. If you like audiobooks, listen to them. Another important way to develop your mental stability and strength is to collect what are called mental models or principles. I'll give you two examples here. One is Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Jason Selk, which is simply asking yourself, what's one thing I can do to make this better? Okay, that's a tool, that's a mental model, Relentless Solution Focus, going from problem to solution in 60 seconds or less. It's in a great book called Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Jason Selk. Another great mental model is the 80-20 principle, also known as the Pareto principle, which tells us that very few things matter, but they matter enormously. A very important one to research. So where can we learn about mental models? There's a great book called Mental Models by Peter Hollins. It's a short read. It's a great primer. Has some really, really important mental models in there that you can apply today. One of my favorite biographies is Be Useful by Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's outstanding. And Poor Charlie's Almanac by Charlie Munger, who I believe is one of the wisest people to ever live. Charlie Munger was Warren Buffett's business partner at Berkshire Hathaway. He was a billionaire. He collected mental models. He was a biography fanatic, and he also studied our next pillar, which is that emotional strength, that emotional pillar. A great podcast for mental models is called Founders with Peter Senra. I believe it's hands down the best podcast out there. He essentially summarizes biographies of some of the greatest achievers of our time, and there's a ton of great mental models, through his study of biographies that he'll teach you. Pillar number three, emotional. How do we develop that emotional strength, stability? resilience. I lean heavily on performance psychology. It's also known as sports psychology, but it's really for everyone. And in particular, in terms of performance psychology, effective goal setting and achievement, overcoming adversity and reducing stress, and number three, self confidence, developing that self confidence. Some great book recommendations: Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Selk, Dr. Jason Selk. It is a must read. It is absolutely must read in terms of personal performance, success, and happiness. The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. It's a daily reader that you can read a little bit each day. Outstanding book in terms of mental and emotional stability. Podcast, any interview with Dr. Jason Selk you can find. Everyone is outstanding. And any interview you can find with Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. I believe the two of them are possibly the world's greatest experts on living a good life. Dr. Jason Selk and Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, two great mentors of mine. Pillar number four, financial. And again, I'm going to lean on, just like I leaned on the mental and emotional expertise, the pillars, the durability, the strength. I leaned on performance psychologists. I'm going to lean on financial experts for this one. This isn't AJ's advice. This is me standing on the shoulders of giants, right? And learning from some of the best in the world in many people's opinions. First piece of information I'll share is to have 1 year of living expenses in the bank. That's in cash, or even better yet, a CD that you can easily access so you're gaining some interest on it. Just in case you need it, that 1 year financial, 1 year of living expenses, just in case, God forbid, something happens, you lose your job, you can't work, your spouse loses their job, something happens where you have to stop working maybe to take care of a family member, but you've got that 1 year of living expenses in the bank ready to go. Now I keep several years. I am locked and loaded in terms of being durable, but they're in high interest CDs, so they're not just sitting there. They're gaining interest. Um, Save and invest 20% of your income. Crucial. Get some good financial advice in terms of investing in an IRA, a 401k. You can max them out, index funds. Go to a reputable financial advisor, someone that you know has been recommended to you as honest and a high level expert. I'm 50% plus a year, sometimes higher than that. I'm 70, 75% that I save and invest in my income every year. I do practice extreme frugality, but I also live a good life and I enjoy myself. But I make sure that I save and invest as much as I possibly can. There's a great peace of mind about that too, and it's a great stress reliever. You have much less stress. When I went through COVID and my business, essentially got decimated for that first year, I didn't have a lot of stress because I had saved and I had already, developed a lot of frugality in my life. So I was able to move through with a lower level of stress than most probably did. Um, Number three, buy the highest quality things you can. Doesn't mean buy the most expensive thing, but sometimes the highest quality thing is the most expensive, but sometimes it's not. So buy high quality things. A great way to know what's high quality, a magazine called Consumer Reports. Okay, I have the digital version as well as a paper copy. There's an app. It's a very affordable yearly subscription and it's independent. So there's no advertisers involved with it. So it's completely independent research on high quality products. There's other good online review sites, but you want them to be as independent as possible where they're not being swayed by advertising dollars. But buy quality things, invest in quality things that will last you and that will serve you well while you're using them. Another very important, another very important component of being financially durable is to become very valuable to customers slash an organization that you're a part of. Become extremely valuable, and you do this in four ways. There's more ways than this, but here's four extremely important ways that I've learned over the years. And I share this sentiment with John Spence and Dan Sullivan as well. They use essentially this list. Um, they really enlighten me, I would say, to this type of thinking. Um, Number one, how do you become very valuable? Be on time. Number two, be extremely polite. Number three, do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And number four, do a little extra. If you do those four things, and you can rewind this and watch that part again, listen to it again. If you, there are four very simple principles that you can practice every day. But if you stop and think how many businesses and how many individuals practice all four of those things at an exceptional level, that makes you extremely rare and special. If you can really practice those four things on a regular basis, you will be insanely valuable to your customers, to your organization, and to everyone around you in your life. These are just really great life skills for any relationship. And lastly, here, in terms of becoming financially durable, build what's called a talent stack. Now, I learned about this from a gentleman named Scott Adams. I think he's one of the smartest guys on the planet. Um, here's the definition of a talent stack: become very good, meaning in the top 25%, at two or more things. Okay, now at least one of those things should be communication skills. That is public speaking or writing or salesmanship. Okay, we're all three. And the second should be your passion in terms of your work. So if you can get in the top 25% as a communicator and also in the work you're passionate about, and then maybe add a few more things that you're in the top 25% in, leadership would be another one. That would be a great number three to get in the top 25% of leaders. You're extremely valuable to any organization and really to society as a whole. And it's just that simple. What I laid out from John Spence and Dan Sullivan and then Scott Adams, I'm really trying to lay out a blueprint, a simple blueprint that we can all execute on. Today, we can start today in these things if you're not already doing them. Some book recommendations. The Index Card by Helene Olin and Harold Pollack, really great short read, simple financial advice. The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, that's another must read on my list. Must read if you want to be successful and make a positive impact in the world. The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox-Cobain, great book on mindset and people skills, confidence and charisma. Reframe Your Brain by Scott Adams, some extremely practical life advice and career advice. And then Consumer Reports magazine. I will also put links to Dilbert's one-page financial list by Scott Adams. It's a very short article on financial, a ton of overlap between that and the Index Card book. And then also an article about talent stacks by Scott Adams. Pillar number 5, spiritual. Spiritual. How do you develop spiritual durability? Prayer, church services, being kind and useful to others, gratitude, meditation, time in nature. All these things are great ways to develop spirituality in your life. Some great books, any spiritual text, whatever denomination you are, if you're religious, any spiritual text, as well as a book called Your True Home by Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my all-time favorites, another daily reader. Beautiful writing, just incredible. Um, Identify which one of these 5 pillars that we talked about, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, spiritual, which one do you need the most work on right now that would make the biggest positive impact in your life in terms of being overall durable? And work on that for the next 30, 60, 90 days, even a year. Really work hard on that one. Now, once you make progress on that one over 90 days, maybe you add a second one. I'm going to work on this. Really try to develop an overall life system, though, of these 5 pillars. I mean, all 5 of these things are literally built into my day. I build these into my day. So again, I'm, going through the toughest month of my life here by far, losing my hearing, my best friend. And what's even harder for me is seeing my closest family members, mother, nieces and nephews, siblings go through this. That's the hardest part. Um, I worked hard over the last decade plus to really become durable, based on my father's example that he set for me, and really sought out, okay, who are the best of the best experts in these 5 pillars so I can become more durable, so I can show up to the best of my ability for those, for those who I love the most, and try to be useful to them as they need it, when they need it, if they need it. And the bonus is you get to live a happier, more successful, healthier, better relationship driven life overall. And when the inevitable storm hits you in life, you don't get knocked on your knees, right? Because you've built up all this durability, making deposits every day in those different accounts. I really wish that for everyone um, watching this or listening to this, that you build up that durability. My challenge to you is to start today and start working on it. It'll be the best, investment you'll ever make of your time to do these things. In terms of reading and the book recommendations, 5 to 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. If you do 15 minutes a day of reading 5 days a week, that'll put you probably in about the top 1 or 2% of the world in terms of learning. Don't feel like you have to do a ton. 30 minutes a day of exercise, that's reasonable. 15 minutes a day of reading, we can do this. We can make time to do these things. We can. We can. That's a choice. That's a decision. And you either pay now in terms of your time, or you'll pay later when the storm hits. You can pay now and or you'll pay later. And I promise you, it'll be much worse and more painful when you pay later. And I don't wish that for any of you. I wish you to have that durability and start working on this now in a very specific, systematic, daily manner. If you found this episode useful, please subscribe to the channel. That helps me a ton. And please share this episode with one person that you think would really find it useful. I wish you an elevated life of success, happiness, and positive impact.